The Strange Disappearance of Arthur Cluck. Arthur Cluck was a very young chicken. His mother, Mrs. Cluck, loved him dearly. She did everything she could to make him happy. She even let him ride on her head, which is unusual for a chicken. One morning, she awoke and started to get his breakfast, and found to her horror that Arthur was gone. She set up a great outcry. "Nobody leave this farm," she said. "Everyone stay where you are. My son Arthur is gone." First, she asked the duck, "Have you seen my son Arthur? He has gone somewhere, and I don't know where." "All chickens look alike to me," the duck replied. "I would not know Arthur from Adam, but I will tell you one thing. This happens every spring. In the spring, a lot of baby chicks get lost. Don't ask me why." Then she saw the rooster. "Where is Arthur?" she asked. "Have you seen him anywhere?" "I have been busy crowing," the rooster replied. "I cannot watch the children too." But the cow was more helpful. "I am sorry to hear it," she said. "In the barn lives a barn owl named Ralph. He knows everything. Perhaps he can help you." So Mrs. Cluck went to see Ralph. "My son Arthur has disappeared," she said. "Can you help me find him? He is small and yellow, and knows how to ride on my head. I have seen him do that trick," Ralph replied. "I don't do much daytime work, but tonight I will stand guard to see what is going on." "Thank you," said Mrs. Cluck. "I miss Arthur more than I can tell you." So that night Ralph stayed in the barn and waited. He waited and waited and waited and waited. And then suddenly he heard a noise. It was no louder than one whisker being rubbed against another. But he knew where it came from, and He dived. "Uh-huh," he cried. "I gotcha." There was a great screech and yell. Yup, crunch! Ralph found that he was fighting with a fox. "Oh, I'm sorry," Ralph said. "Please excuse me. I am looking for a baby chicken named Arthur." "You chose a funny way to do it," said the fox. "Do I look like a baby chicken?" "Now that you mention it, no," said Ralph. "But I thought you were someone else." "Thinking is not good enough," the fox replied. "Next time you should be sure." "I will," said Ralph. "Believe me, next time I will be sure." So back he went on top of his perch, and the fox went somewhere else. Then Ralph heard a different sound, a sound like something being dragged. It was Gus, the pack rat, going home with a heavy load of loot. "Well," said Ralph, "this may lead to what I want." He followed Gus to where he lived. Then he leaped and caught Gus with the loot. The place was full of things that Gus had stolen: rings and string and gum and marbles and erasers and glass and teeth and bottle tops and buttons and a tie clip and an old tennis ball. But there was no sign of Arthur. "Where did you hide the baby chicken?" Ralph asked. "Quick, or I might eat you." "What chicken?" Gus replied. "I only steal things, not chickens." Then Ralph saw something interesting. It was an egg painted in many bright colors. "Where did you get this?" he asked. "Up at the farmhouse," Gus said. "They have a lot of them there." "That gives me an idea," Ralph said. "Where there are colored eggs, there are often baby chickens." "I have noticed that, too," said Gus, "but I never thought much about it." So Ralph flew up to the farmhouse. It was dark and quiet, and nobody was about. "This is good," said Ralph. "It will give me a chance to search." He looked in the farmhouse window and saw a bowl of colored eggs, but he saw no sign of Arthur. Then he heard something. In a truck behind the house, he found a crate. The crate was full of baby chickens. They were saying, "Chip, chip, chip." "Arthur!" Ralph called. "Are you in there?" "Yes, I'm Arthur," said one baby chicken. "So am I," said another. "My name is Arthur," said the third. "I am Arthur too," said another. Arthur had been a popular name that year. I will have to let you all out, said Ralph. And the Arthur I want can come with me. So he tore at the wire with his claws. And pretty soon the night was full of baby chickens. Some went back into the truck, some went for a walk, and some fell asleep. It had been a long day. Of them all, only one, Arthur, knew how to ride on someone's head. It was Arthur Cluck, and he was more than glad to go home with Ralph.